Good evening, welcome to Trending at 10 p.m. On the show tonight, as another wasted day of Parliament goes by, it is truly amazing that despite this, a proposal to hike the allowances of parliamentarians was approved in Parliament today. This during a Parliament session where on an average more than 90% of the time scheduled for work has been wasted by screaming, by shouting, by protesting MPs. On the show tonight, should MPs get allowances if they don't work? Well, they get allowances. Should they get this hike, I think, is what we are trying to look at. First, the big trending stories on NDTV.com and then what's making real news on Twitter. The Apollo Hospital Chief Dr. Pratap Reddy's big reveal about the ICU cameras during Jayalalitha's stay. All CCTV cameras in hospital were switched off for the entire duration. That's what the Apollo Hospital chairman had to say. Will take a supercomputer the age of the universe to hack into data. That's what the Aadhaar boss tells the Supreme Court today. But are everybody convinced about the security of data given to Aadhaar? Well, still lots of questions we asked. The senior BJP leader and former Maharashtra Minister Eknath Khadse on Thursday has demanded an inquiry into the way a contract to kill rats in the Mantralaya in Mumbai, the state secretariat, was executed. How could the company which was given the contract to kill more than 3 lakh rats in Mantralaya accomplish this task in a mere 7 days? That is also doing news. Apparently because the Mumbai municipality couldn't kill that many rats in years, but this company evidently did it. All sorts of news. We try and give you a bit of a variety. But let's take a look at some of the other headlines. These are the trending headlines. KC Tyagi, a big trend. All CCTV Apollo. KC Tyagi, another big headline. The KC Tyagi story, of course, about the big political news which is taking place with regard to data security, with regard to the influence of companies which have also been involved in the Facebook issue and the involvement of his son as the India head of one of those data analytics firms. And the other story which we just discussed, it's also trending, the CCTV footage at Apollo Hospital in Mumbai. I beg your pardon, in Chennai. We're going to quickly move on now to our top story. Let's just bring up those details on our top story and bring up the graphics on the screen. And if we can just go up to the details of what we will be discussing today. Our big debate. Members of Parliament are set to get increased allowances, with Parliament clearing a proposal which had been earlier cleared by Parliament. MPs will get, by the Cabinet I should say, MPs will get an increase in furniture allowance from 75,000 rupees to 1 lakh. This will be increased with inflation every 5 years on the basis of inflation. The constituency allowance of 45,000 rupees has also been increased to 70,000 rupees per month, with the changes said to be effective from the 1st of April. The office expense allowance has been increased from 45,000 rupees a month to 60,000 rupees. That will be applicable from April as well. What's the big deal, you ask? Well, it is this. In this session of Parliament, perhaps the worst ever, we've essentially had no work, none at all. More than 90% of the time, on an average, our MPs have been preventing work from going on. So the question is this: do our MPs deserve this hike that they are getting? Joining us now to look at this, Udit Raj, Lok Sabha MP of the BJP. Thanks so very much for being with us. Shogotar Roy, Lok Sabha MP of the Trinamool Congress, and Sanjay Jha of the Congress Party joins us. Let's just go straight across now to Udit Raj. Sir, the hikes may not be very substantial at this stage in rupee terms, but the fact of the matter is that 90% plus of work over the last several days in this session has not happened. So if citizens across this country ask, why are we paying our MPs more for what they are doing, how would you answer that question?
I'm very surprised at how the people look at it. In fact, what happened is that the member of parliament are not government servant or employees, that they will work over there and for that they are being paid. What happened is that why have been elected? They have been elected to serve the people, and people start reaching in the morning until late night they are coming. And if the people are not giving typed letter, are not giving the treatment, water, tea, etc., and then of course the travel expenses, then the constituency people will they will criticize and they will say that he is of no use. So what happened is that the resources which of course in terms of allowances or salary, whatever you are saying is a meager even considering the expenses. See, it's a people demand, and I don't think that it's
so people are demanding that you shout and you scream. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about MPs across party lines.
Let me tell
is
you,
that the expectation of constituents?
Let me complete it. Yes, of course. And let me complete it.
So the people in your constituency expect you to shout and scream and not get any work done.
2 crore salary in such a poor country, and this is a meager amount looking at the expenditure of the member of parliament or any people representative. So it's for the constitution. It's not that they are the clerk, they are the officer, they will go.
What is the problem with a clerk, sir? And what is the problem with somebody else? Are they necessarily inferior to you?
See, the work and profile of the representative of the people are different from others. It should not be equated. Masses should be tutored and taught that they are looking at it from a perspective which is not correct.
I'm sorry, sir. Your job is to pass legislation in this country and to engage in debate. Leaders across political lines today are disgracing our democracy. Why? Because more than 90% of work in this session has not taken place. For that, you are getting additional salaries and you're getting additional allowances as well. And sir, it is a valid question which people in this country want to know. Why are we necessarily giving allowances if this is the amount of work that is taking place? Is it not a fair expectation that legislators have to pass legislation?
Again, I am saying it. Again, I am saying that there are people representative and they are not being paid for there. They are not clerk. They are not officers. They are not typists. That for that they are being paid if they are going to parliament.
So firstly, sir, I find it unusual that you would raise clerk, typists as some sort of people who are apparently somehow inferior to you, sir. Nobody is inferior to anybody. An MP is not superior or inferior.
No, I am saying
you are an elected representative of the people, including clerks and typists. I don't know why you keep using that language.
Those who get the employment in the private sector, they are being paid for disposing the file. They are being paid for the. Here we are paid for serving the constitution.
Yes, absolutely.
Now what happened?
You serve your constituency and you serve the constitution. The question is that being effectively done?
Very high.
Okay, so one moment. I want to go across to Shogota Roy, Lok Sabha MP of the Trinamool Congress. Good evening, sir. It is a fair question. I'm sure you and of course virtually every MP in our parliament would at some stage or the other have been involved in vociferously protesting and preventing work from going on. So therefore, if people are to say what exactly are our parliamentarians doing to deserve these additional hikes or allowances, whatever they may be, how would you answer that question, sir?
No, I am sorry that the work in parliament is not being conducted. I am sorry that disruptions have taken place over the last 3 weeks. I would have been happy if parliament continued with its normal functions. Earlier, in other sessions, we have done 112% of the work. Now, somehow or other, the House has not run, and I lay the blame on the government of the day. They should have taken the initiative in reaching out to the parties which are creating hangama in the House, parties like ADMK or TRS, and persuaded them to let the House function. 1 or 2 days disruption is all right, but what has happened is unfortunate. We are feeling very frustrated ourselves that we come to the House and the House is adjourned in 5 minutes. It is not desirable, nor do people want it. So, while that is very important, we still hope that the government would take some initiative, the Speaker would take some initiative, and the House would start functioning again. So, I am at one with you on that.
Sanjay Jha, the Congress has been at the center also of so many protests in this term, perhaps not with this, with what the TRS has been arguing in the last few days, but one scandal after the other you've been raising, and of course that is the right of anybody to raise these issues. but then to disrupt work in what people say is a deliberate effort at preventing Parliament from continuing, you know, I mean, how is the Congress any better than any other party? And why should constituents in our country say that accept this kind of protest?
See, I have
Mr.
objection in the sense that
one moment, sir. Sir, I'll come back to you. I'm asking Sanjay Jha.
For justification of hike of
No, 1 minute. I'm asking
allowances.
Sanjay Jha. I'll come back to you, Mr. Udit Rajan, 1 moment. But Sanjay, go ahead.
Let me remind you, Vishnu, that Mr. Arun Jaitley, no less, I remember when the entire sessions were wiped off because of BJP's, strategy to actually disrupt Parliament. He made a public statement. He said parliamentary disruption is part of BJP's political strategy, and he believed that is an absolutely democratic right he had as an opposition party. Now, we don't have any such view at all. And let me tell you this, that what you're witnessing today is an authoritarian government in Lok Sabha, which actually has a brute majority, passes a finance bill without discussions. End of day, what is happening today? If there are parties from Andhra Pradesh talking about the special status that they deserve, which has been rejected by the government, if we want to discuss the Nirav Modi scam, the government of the day uses every trick in the book to not allow those discussions to happen on the floor of Parliament. Let me tell you what can we do? We go and protest, we keep protesting, and the House gets adjourned. I think what you're witnessing in India is a sham of democracy, and I think the entire responsibility for this goes to Mr. Modi's government.
No,
and I'll tell you what is causing the entire anger on the salaries of MPs.
Every political party, it's our system in Parliament where every political party believes might is right, you shout.
Let me answer Vishnu. Vishnu, let me tell you this in short. The problem with the MP's salary in terms of optics and perception, which I think has really gone wrong, is that it should not be fixed by them. There should be an independent body, whether it is a totally new regulator, I don't know. But I think there should be a separate body that decides the quantum of allowances, salaries, perks, at what frequency, what should it be. If that is actually set up, I think the people will find the entire issue not, so, shall we say, brazenly immoral. Otherwise, what happens is the perception is, or the optics is, that the farmers are walking 180 kilometers in blistering heat and suffering. You find joblessness rising in India, and the MPs are increasing their salary by twice the number.